Hey, welcome back, everyone, to Toma Needs to Water His Cactus. Oh, I need to water the cactus. Can't believe I forgot to water the cactus. Bach, are you done preparing yet? What do you mean, and I'm not Bach? Don't try to avoid this. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Tell us the story about you and MAMIYA.
The air suddenly froze.
Niigaki's intense face is just great.
The time had finally come. Niigaki gulped and watched the two from a distance.
Why me? You're the one who broke the ice, even though fate hasn't exactly dealt you a favorable hand. Man,
Hey. Arisugawa stood between them. Leave it at that, Edie.
Now this is rare. You don't usually side with someone. And weren't you the one who said it?
Bach,
I have a name. Arisugawa.
I told you it'll be necessary someday, right?
Yes.
Well, it looks like that someday is right now.
So it was all for this then. You were nice to me just for this. I thought you'd help me. That you'd side with me. Oh, man.
Arisugawa faced away from him.
Toma! We're all waiting. Niigaki.
He looked at her as if to beg for help, but she ignored him too.
Well, can't help it. Talk. Tell us about you and MAMIYA. I've always been interested, and I really want to know. So hurry up. A story about me and MAMIYA. Well.
He cast his gaze down as if cornered, and then looked out the window.
It's still too early. Excuse me? It's still bright out. Let us wait until evening. 7 o'clock should be fine. It's cold, so put on something warm. I'm wearing the exact same outfit. I've been waiting for you. Wait, why the hell did you call us out here? Why not talk inside? Well, we have warm tea at least.
He poured some tea from a thermos. As the steam rose, Niigaki hesitantly took the cup in hand.
What a relief. The sky is cleared up.
Hey.
It was raining at noon, right? The stars are beautiful on rainy days, so this is a perfect day for astronomical observation.
Why'd you call us out here? You need a romantic atmosphere to talk about MAMIYA?
I noticed none of you wore a warmer outfit like I suggested.
Does that make it easier for you?
Astronomy is what led me to meeting MAMIYA. He loved all the stars and truly understood the spirit of the universe. He was like the starry sky in winter. You could be in the kind of cold that made you want to walk faster. Yet, just by looking up, you'd see lights so intense that you wouldn't think they were thousands of light years away. That might have been why I used to walk around in the cold. If I could see something this beautiful, then the cold wasn't such a bad thing. At least that's what it made me think.
The other three continued listening to him in silence. They all tried to see a part of themselves in him, as well as look for differences. The stars glittered gracefully in the sky above. Toma exhaled a soft, white breath as he beheld its endless canopy.
Yes, it's cold. Let's go back inside. All right, that's enough of that. When did people stop being children? All I really needed was music. My world didn't go beyond that. Vast, that silent, vast universe. Do you want to be the instructor?
Toma, stop. You're too focused on the rhythm. The strings are reverberating, leaving behind the depth of the sound.
Oh, I see.
Your problem is that when you read music off the sheet, it sounds too mechanical. Have more respect for Bach. You have the technique, but try to put more emotion into it.
I will. Thank you, sir. Isn't that just like Spock from not Spock? What the fuck am I saying? Data, Commander Data, trying to perform music in Star Trek, right? Keep getting told that his music is too robotic and he doesn't put enough emotion in it. Why did I say Spock? I'm tired.
Rhymes with Bach,
There you go. Cello suites.
although it doesn't. Spach.
Spach. Cello Suite number 5. This heavy, grave composition was my current project. I did respect Bach. Without him, music wouldn't be what it was today. I did my best to listen to the love, the sadness, joy, and pain in his music and tried to digest it, but I really tried, but there's no point if I can't convey it, is there? That is the difficulty in performing music, right? What's written on the page is not the sum total of the music. What's written on the page is like the mechanical bare bones that lead you to what the composer wants. Sometimes what they want is very just precise and sterile in that way, and there's room for that in music. But a lot of times, like, you have to start playing the piece and hear the sounds for yourself in order to kind of figure out, like, oh, like what does this music actually want to sound like? Which is an incredibly infuriating thing to say to someone who just wants to play the notes and learn the piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is always going to be a large difference between mechanically reciting what's on the page and hearing someone perform it. I thought about the problem while wiping the bow.
I want you to become a politician like me.
I understood his feelings well. He didn't force me to follow the path he wanted just because I was the eldest son. It was my life, after all. And yet, however faint, the opaque hope strangled me like silk. There's no way I'd make a good politician. I've never been good with words. The feelings I held inside would always be crushed, restrained, and limited. I was on my way back from the hospital after bringing a change of clothes for my brother. The stars were shining bright in the distant sky. Just how long had it been since I held hands with my parents and looked up at those stars? I also like how very little his brother features in his stories.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, yeah, I brought some clothes for him. I guess it's kind of just like a set piece and not really a character. Now's not the time to think about that. Gotta get home and practice after all. When did people stop being children? I met MAMIYA during my first year in high school.
Really? You like stargazing too?
Yes, I was looking forward to the Leonids yesterday, but the weather wasn't good for it.
That's a real shame. And man, I'm glad I was able to find someone good before graduation.
The spectacled senior took out a key from his pocket. And what is this?
The key that unlocks the beauty of the expanding universe.
In my hand, there was a rocket-like keychain with a key on it, gleaming softly in the light. The astronomy club was on the roof. When I went there, I found that man.
Oh, he's here. I didn't know this had a Guilty Gear crossover.
God, one of these days I'm going to have to actually learn who that man is. But today is not that day. He was wearing a hoodie and another school's uniform. He, MAMIYA, was sleeping on a dusty blanket. The sight shocked me. Hello? I tried to touch the shoulder reflecting the light coming in through the door, and,
So bright.
He quickly got up, forcing me to pull my hand away and back off. I hadn't realized he was breathing. I thought you were dead.
Huh? Oh.
Still half asleep, he scratched his head before looking at me and opening his eyes wide.
You're Morichika Toma, right?
Jesus Christ, this MAMIYA is way past cool. How do you know that?
One of the seniors told me that we're getting a new first year.
And you are...
MAMIYA? My name's MAMIYA. Welcome to the Astronomy Club, Toma.
Is MAMIYA the only other member of the astronomy club? Because remember, that senior didn't seem to have anyone else to hand it off to,
Yep.
right? It was a windy and dry November. Despite being from another school, MAMIYA would sneak in here to use the clubroom as his main haunt. The room looked anything but well kept. There was a mess of old tanned magazines and manga scattered everywhere.
I got a different key, you see. Apparently this has been passed down for years now.
He shook his key, which was on a moon-shaped keychain. So he basically pushed it on me, huh?
So, wanna watch an NASA video?
Sorry, but I didn't actually enter the astronomy club.
Come on, you can still watch it though, right? I really like it myself.
I have something else to do, I'm sorry.
Really? Well, come on over whenever you feel like it.
So MAMIYA in this case feels like what Toma wishes he could have been as a student, right? Sure thing. See ya. I looked at the constellation map and the Apollo 11 poster as I closed the door. I probably wouldn't come on here again. I wasn't in a situation that would allow it. I have a cello lesson tomorrow and I need to make sure I keep a steady rhythm. I made my way down the stairs while tapping my thigh with my fingers. I was on my way home from practice and I whipped my body to force myself to walk. Oh, dinner, right. I'm not really hungry.
Hey, Toma.
I heard my name and turned my shoulders to face the speaker. And there I saw a familiar high school boy. Oh, hello, MAMIYA. Oh, shit.
What are you doing out here so late?
I'm on my way back from practice.
You look awful.
Oh, really?
You were going back from a lesson? What do you do?
I play the cello.
Oh.
And the piano.
Awesome.
I can also sing, I suppose.
Do people usually do so many things at
The
once?
thing is, for the amount of instruments a person plays, it's actually the inverse bell curve. You either play one, or you play a ton. The thing is, as you play more, you start picking up more and more and more and kind of gather steam. But if you just kind of stay in your lane of one or two, then you're probably going to stick there. There are precious few people who play merely a handful. I still want to do more, actually. I'm thinking of picking up a wind instrument. See? There it is.
Picking up a what?
A windstrument.
Oh, I getcha. So you want to be a musician?
No, I don't, actually. I'll probably become a government worker.
Oh? What a waste. You play so much music.
It's not like every musician can become a pro.
But you like music, don't you?
Well, yeah, of course.
You should strive for it then.
No, it's fine, really.
All right. Today is the most active day for the astronomy club.
Hey, MAMIYA, wait, where are you taking me?
What do you mean where? A place where we can see the stars, obviously.
MAMIYA then went and flashed a wide grin. How long do we have to walk?
The good spot I know is some way ahead. It gets better the farther you go from the city.
MAMIYA pulled me by the hand through the forest. I'm sorry, MAMIYA, that's enough, thank you. I need to head back and study for...
There. Toma, look up.
Huh? I looked up. And in the sky I saw so many stars that I didn't feel like I was in Tokyo anymore. Wow, I can see them all so well. This place is really good.
Told ya. Man, what a relief. With such pretty stars hanging in the sky, there's really no reason not to smile.
I wasn't smiling?
Oh, not at all. You were totally down in the dumps.
I see. Though I felt like I was wasting time, I also felt my heart begin to come untied. Must have been a power this strange boy had. In his eyes, my line of thinking must have seemed shallow. Position, honor, money, flesh. Death took all those things away. He knew all too well that in this world, everything was borrowed at best. Since then, I'd knock on the astronomy clubroom's door every day. Every day where I had no music lessons. Good morning, MAMIYA.
Yo, Toma.
We made our rocket and moon keychains clink as we smiled. This was our personal greeting. These days I thought that if flesh was borrowed, then MAMIYA alone was real. He had no body, and that made him the one thing I'd always yearned for. Yeah, right. Probably wouldn't have thought that about anyone else but him. You all feel the same way, right? Even though you can't have peace of mind with something you can't touch.
I'm sorry, Toma.
It's okay, Dad. Don't force yourself.
It's about time you... Forget it. Thanks for all your help.
I put down the receiver and sighed. It was election season. My dad was really busy and spent very little time at home. Even since I was a child, my father had tried to lead me into becoming a politician. He showed me how politicians dealt with society and how they worked. I respected my father, and I understood the necessity of politicians. However... Dad, I have a cello contest on that day. I have a piano test the week after, and then a visit from a famous vocal teacher. Was I a disappointment to my dad? He was such a great and venerable person.
Did you hear that Enomoto's little brother won the national contest?
Enomoto, huh? Interesting.
Man, those brothers have such bright futures ahead of them.
Enomoto sure is something. We were the same age. He learned alongside me and we both went to the competition, and yet there was such a stark difference between us now. These days, young people were very talented. If there was a way to catch up and surpass them, it was through the right environment and the amount of time spent practicing. Whew, that's it for today's practice. Oh, yes, I need to bring spare clothes to the hospital. Where could Mother be right now? The moment I muttered that, feelings within poured out. Adults should look after children, right? My voice was like a beast's growl. Ah! I shocked even myself and felt like apologizing to the whole world. I didn't mean it. I knew that my parents and brother had it hard. Everyone had their hands full with themselves and there was no helping that. I was actually having it pretty good. I had no right to complain. And then again, if I had to grow up and become an adult, the best way to do that was to give up on music, right? Those dark, pitiful feelings overwhelmed my heart. I'll quit the astronomy club as well. Never had any time for it to begin with. Feel bad for MAMIYA, but I'll go give him back the key.
Look, Toma, big news.
MAMIYA, there's something important I have to tell you.
I found a treasure map.
A treasure map? Why would he say something so childish? I was so shocked my voice was almost enraged. Yeah, because MAMIYA looks like kind of having the carefree follow your own desires childhood that Toma wishes he could have had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, like, because this MAMIYA isn't tied down by anything like that and can just be like, yeah, I want to look at the stars or go on a childish treasure hunt. I hear good Yuri starts with treasure hunts. This map has to show the way to Treasure Island.
Wow.
You sounded like me just
you.
then. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
This map's got to show the way to the Treasure Island.
Surely it was just a meaningless scribble left by former members of the club. I didn't even want to address it. I had something important to tell him, and yet this just made me even more irritated at myself for being bad at talking.
Hey, Toma, want to go to the sea with me?
What are you talking about? There's no sea nearby.
Boat trips require a navigator, you know? You can read the stars, right? You can navigate for us.
Hey, MAMIYA! MAMIYA was always forceful, one-sided, and so hard to get a hold of. And so we went rowing out to the sea. The ship we went on was a small one. The wind was somewhat strong, and when we raised the sail, the ship began to shake. Toma just jacked a boat that one time. I hesitantly grasped the rudder while MAMIYA calmly adjusted the sail. This is actually strange because sailboats designed for one person are designed for one very competent person.
Yep. With the wind's direction being what it is, we'll be going against it. Turn it a bit to the left.
Doing as I was told, I moved the rudder left. Albeit awkwardly, the ship slowly began to move.
There, that's the way. The waves are pretty high around here, but they should be calmer further out.
I was about to give him a firm nod in response, but then quickly snapped back to my senses. Ugh, enough of this, Mamiya. Why did you get me involved in something this stupid? I don't have the time to.
Listen, it's important not to overthink things.
What?
It's not easy to just empty your mind. I mean, people generally rack their brains thinking about stuff all the time. The people who can just not think are actually the strongest out there.
Like the Buddha? The Buddha, no thoughts, head empty. As I thought about the meaning behind those words, the ship continued to move. No good, Mamiya, a mist is rolling in. The sea was blanketed in a mist a short distance ahead, making it impossible to see anything. Mamiya used the foghorn to check the surroundings, but it was still pretty much impossible to know what was around us. It felt as though the ship was surrounded by a thick white curtain.
Toma, you might be tired, but it's dangerous around here. Let's get some rest after going a bit ahead.
Toma is so unhappy with his life that he steals a boat and decides to sail out into the unknown. Come on, man. All right. Mamiya opened a nautical chart and turned on a flashlight. However, the deeper we went into the mist, the more questionable sounds we heard from the ship. Mist is so dense, I can't even tell where we're going. Makes me feel uneasy.
Not much longer now. Don't give up.
Will we really make it to the treasure island?
We will. I'm sure of it.
The hand he put on my shoulder gave me some peace of mind. Following those words, the ship continued cutting through the mist. The next thing I knew, I'd grown so tired I fell asleep.
Hey, Toma, wake up.
Huh? When I woke up, I saw a vast sky full of stars. The sky was dark and all I could hear was the waves. When I looked above, I saw so many stars, it was startling.
Huh.
Startling. Do you get it? I've never seen a starry sky this beautiful. Overwhelmed by nature's beauty, I briefly forgot about my father and music. I can't see the phrase without having the intonation force its way in.
Purification.
Nature's
purification,
beauty.
Nature's beauty.
Mamiya was right. Mamiya was right. Astronomical knowledge was invaluable here. Hello.
Listen, Toma, out on sea the stars serve as our guide. If you find the North Star, you'll find your bearings on a nautical chart.
I sat down on the deck and looked up at the stars, chart in hand.
If that's
That's Polaris, then that's Orion. That's the Big Dipper, and... Oh, that's Cassiopeia.
Yeah, that's Cassiopeia.
Huh. Fitting.
I knew I did the right thing by bringing you along as a navigator.
Mamiya rubbed my head and praised me. I bashfully told him to stop and kept watching the stars. Looking at the stars makes hosts the planets play in my head.
The planets?
Do 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 do. You're not gonna join in. Wow. You know it's a rough marriage when your wife won't join you in impromptu humming the rhythm to Mars Bringer of War. Oh, you're not familiar with it yet? Most famous movement in the piece is probably Jupiter. I sang a bit of it and he reacted to it well. I know that it's not about the celestial bodies, but the sounds are so rich that personally I see a connection between it and the vast universe. All the compositions are great and they seem to improve your mental image of the planets.
Which one do you like the most?
It's hard to pick just one, but I suppose I'd go with Venus. Venus, Bringer of Peace. That was the name given to the composition.
Suits you perfectly.
I'm happy to hear that, but you actually remind me of Venus as well.
Really?
Oh, wait, Mercury, Jupiter. Or maybe Uranus might be a better fit. I honestly feel like you're all the planets at once. I smiled, but Mamiya made a complex expression and seemed to be thinking about something.
I'm not a planet. You can see me without a telescope.
He stood up, pointed at the twilight sky, and smiled.
I'm the moon.
Standing on the deck of the ship, he looked at me as the night sky spread out behind him. And every time the ship swayed, the stars shook with it.
I'm always closest to you.
The moon. That seemed somehow fitting. The way it floated and shone in the sky was reminiscent of Mamiya. Debussy's Moonlight. Not bad. Claire de Lune, right? Yeah, I learned that one from Ultra Kill. What of it? What are you going to do, judge me? As I muttered that, Mamiya looked up at the sky again. The Ursids are going to come next. Will you watch them with me?
Sure, it's a promise. Let's turn everything into a joke, and I do mean everything. You tend to be too serious, so that'll work well for you. Hey, Toma, tell me something funny.
Something funny.
Excellent. Good. If you speak humorously about things that happen to you...
It took me a moment to realize the gap was for me. I should have caught on sooner.
I'm sure you'll become strong.
Was it okay for me to be a child still? With the stars as our guide, we were about to arrive at our destination. We're finally at the treasure island. Didn't think we'd actually make it.
This was a long and arduous voyage, and the secrets of the island will finally be unraveled.
Secrets? What do you think we'll find there?
Does this Mamiya have heterochromia as well?
I think so, yeah. Sometimes I can't tell if it's the art style or if it actually is, but there are, at least right now, it's two distinct hues, yeah.
They say the treasure island is full of gems and riches.
Oh, Rokenjima.
But more valuable than that are the many stories born over the course of its long history.
Stories, you say?
Rokenjima.
Oh, right, Rokenjima.
A city sunken by the sea, a paradise inhabited by long-lived, beautiful mermaids.
That's Atlantis.
There are many stories like that, and they are all true for the treasure island.
Are we searching for an underwater island? Did I need to bring a submarine? So your goal is to verify those stories? My question made him put on a resigned smile.
No, I want to become the treasure island story itself.
What do you mean by that? Before I got an answer to my question, the ship slowly stopped and Mamiya got off. Hey, Mamiya, wait up! When I chased after him and stepped on the treasure island, my vision was quickly flooded by light.
Don't quit music, okay?
That was the last thing I heard Mamiya say. Though that was all just an allegory about me winning the competition. All I got was a certificate as a first place winner and the telescope left in the astronomy club. It was during the Ursid meteor shower that I realized Mamiya was gone. Last year I watched it alongside Mamiya around the same time. There was a freezing wintry chill in the air. I went to get some warm coffee from my thermos. The meteor shower was simply beautiful. So Mamiya and I promised to see them again next time, and he was up for it too. And I've been waiting for him ever since. Under the full sky. I'd waited a long time, but... my teeth were chattering, the cold was making me want to sleep. I felt like Mamiya would show up the moment I looked at the telescope, so I never actually looked through. My pale breath filled the air around me, and I waited to see that green eye shining in the dark, and yet...
It even calls out green eye, singular.
Yep. Samajima had helped bring the telescope into the house at the end of the year. I had him bring his mini and put it in.
A telescope? Is that yours?
Yes, would you like to have a look at the stars?
Sure.
Then come to the veranda at 3 a.m. Put on something warm, and, The moment I said that, she grimaced and ran off like a cat. Oh, so you're not up for it. How about you, Samajima? I'm working late tonight. I see, you must be busy. As for Arasugawa, he was still back at his real home. Well, I've always wanted to stargaze by myself anyway. It was the 3rd of January. In the early morning, the moon was very close to Venus. I looked at the stars without even knowing that. Yet the sight of the partially filled moon and Venus made me shed tears within the morning light. Mamiya. Mamiya, Mamiya! I continued sobbing as tears rolled down my cheeks. I was like a broken dam and I just couldn't stop crying. The sunrise was beautiful. The Osids will come again this year. You could see it last year and the year before that and even this year. It's really a special thing. A cruel kind of special. It also made me recall my memories of Mamiya. Even now, whenever I look up at the moon, I always think of the moonlight from that time. And that's the end of my story. The rest is as you know it. In the latter half of December, I felt something vanish and Mamiya was gone. I really want to go stargazing with him again. Even the achievement is called Claire de Lune. That's the end of Tomo route, except for we have one more thing to check out, right? There's the small little bits of details we get during this scene as well. So we need to fast forward and catch that. And then we'll go back, and I guess we'll just have to cap off. The last thing we have in Chapter 2 is Arasugawa's entire arc.
Yeah.
You good to do that?
Sure.
All right. My headphones fell off because I tried to get some taro out of the bottom of the can. Or tapioca. I've got a thing of taro bubble tea, and there's like a couple of little tapioca balls left in the bottom of it.
How is it?
I couldn't get them in, but my headphones fell off when I knelt back to do it.
How's the bubble tea, though?
Oh, it was pretty good. And by pretty good, I mean like it's fine. It's canned bubble tea. Like there's both a floor and a ceiling here. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Okay.
Hey, Minato time. Right. We kind of figured that after, conductor stuff, but
that hasn't been how the others went.
No, it hasn't. Well, the first one was... That's right, because Samajima's had us get a background about Arasugawa's.
Yep. And the same with the second. Gave us background about somebody else.
No, Niigaki's gave us info about Niigaki. About, Haruki. It's Samajima's that hasn't lined up.
You're right.
That is weird. Anyway. Minato time.
What is it, Natsume? Oh, could you show me how sparklers work? If you're fine with me, then sure. Tojo Minato responded quickly and moved closer to me. I gotta ask though, what kind of childhood did you have? It's sort of unusual for someone to have never played with handheld fireworks. Well, I did watch many of the fireworks that got fired off into the sky. I was a normal kid, although I didn't have many friends back then. Well, you have us now. Tojo Minato. You're right, I found dear friends in all of you. Oh, by the way, what were you like in the past? Huh? I want to know about your past. What kind of child were you?
Everybody has their turn. It's time for yours.
I was into dressing up.
No shit.
Won't say as what. Really? You're pretty fashion conscious even now, so it's a long-running thing then.
Natsume.
Thanks, but back then I was into dressing up in a different way.
The moment where you have to have this conversation with your friend who hasn't figured it out yet and you don't know how to tell them, but also you feel like you have to at some point.
Tojo Minato was hesitant to continue. It was a familiar expression and I couldn't help but say something. It's okay, I'm not going to force you to talk. It's not that I don't want to talk. I'm just not sure where to begin and how to say it so I'm understood. I bought a piece of clothing, but not the kind you'd wear every day. It was something I pooled together my allowance to get. My parents weren't home much, so I could easily hide it in my room.
Yep.
As one does.
Yep, as one does.
The clothes were beautiful. Its vibrant yellow bloomed like a flower whenever the wind blew. But its pretty embarrassing to wear clothing like that to school. I didn't want people to point fingers at me for dressing up. That was why I would only wear it after taking the train and passing 3 stations.
Oh, the freedom of being far enough from your hometown that you can be mostly certain that no one is going to know you.
That day, I put on the clothes and walked around an area of town that was pretty far from home for an elementary schooler. However, the sky suddenly clouded over and I found myself drenched in the rain. That was when it happened. I met someone important to me, Toma. It was awful. Droplets of water kept trickling to the ground when I squeezed my hair. My shoes were all wet. And worst of all, my favorite piece of clothing, this yellow flower-patterned dress, was all wet.
I was going to say it sounded like a sundress.
Yep.
Yep.
I hate this. It almost made me cry.
Did you also see Toma's hair
Yeah.
was very purposely cut? Either that or a wig, but...
It was so bright out when I left, so it never even crossed my mind that it'd be raining in this town. I ran under the awning of a nearby establishment to hide from the rain. The droplets made loud sounds as they hit the ground. Ugh. I was getting cold and regretted not bringing something to cover myself with.
That's the first-timers always forget, is that they are clothes and they are awesome and look very swishy and fun, yes. But there is also a practical aspect to... If you're going to wear a dress, bring a purse with your shit in it. You don't have cargo pants. You don't have the pocket of your hoodie anymore. You got to think these things through.
When would the rain end? And how long would I have to stand here?
APR stream where we just give advice to first-time people trying to cross-dress and figure themselves out.
I did really well with my makeup, and it was supposed to be a great day, yet I was starting to tear up when suddenly the bell of the establishment behind me began to ring. I'm sorry, I'm only here because of the rain. I'll go away if I'm being a bother.
Oh, do you have an umbrella?
Oh, no.
Oh, I saw you from inside. Would you care to come in? Excuse me, do you have a towel?
No, dear, the poor child is drenched. I'll bring one right away. The establishment was a cafe with a relaxed atmosphere. It didn't seem right for an elementary schooler like me to be there. While I was drying my hair and clothes with the towel the worker brought, the man who let me in sat down on a counter stool.
Come here, sit down.
I have no money on me.
Don't worry about that, it's on me. Excuse me, could you please get her some lemonade? I like how they add in the small little silence there for that for that small little bit of gender euphoria of someone casually gendering you correctly without ever having to even think about it, and then that like and then your face does like 17 different expressions.
Her. Was that how he referred to me just now?
What is it?
Oh, nothing. I could tell that I was blushing. Was it because of my long hair? The skirt? Did I look like a girl?
It'll take some time until the rain stops. Let's just relax here for now.
Thank you.
Must have been ow.
You must have been cold out in the rain, so I asked for hot lemonade. Thank you. It's good.
I told you, I'm glad it made you smile.
Okay. Our eyes met. He had a chiseled face with gentle-looking eyes. They had the color of hydrangea and were gleaming with intelligence. Even as a fellow man, I could tell how handsome he was. I snapped out of it and looked away. Despite that, he kept on looking at my face.
Your eyes. They are different colors,
What?
Oh, sorry, that was presumptuous of me. I just noticed that one of them was green.
Oh, it's been like that for a long time. I'm not sure why, though.
Well, they are very pretty. Oh, look, the rain has stopped.
Would you be here if I came again? I'd like to return your money.
Oh, don't worry about it.
But I want to.
Really? Well, I'm here every Saturday afternoon.
Okay, see you next time.
And so I'd...
And so I'd always come up with reasons to visit the cafe and meet Toma. Here, in front of Toma, I could feel like I was someone else, and that made me excited. He was knowledgeable and refined, and generally one of the most wonderful adults I'd ever met. Had he realized I was actually a man? He never once suggested it. He was an artistic person, so maybe he just understood? He was also surprisingly dense, though, so he might have simply not realized it. If only he could also see me as a high schooler, or at least a middle schooler. Well, that wouldn't change the fact that he was older than me. And I was basically just a fan of his. This occasionally made him squint, almost like he was slightly exasperated. As a child, I had a limited allowance. Once my money had all run out, I stopped going to the cafe. By the time the seasons had changed, I was an everyday elementary schooler. Everything had gone back to normal. I was a so-called latchkey kid. Back in elementary, I would often go to after-school care.
Minato, let's play Karuta.
Hey, he's playing cards with me. Go away. Now, don't fight. You'll have your turn, so be patient. As an older child, I was like the elder brother of the other children here and would often look after them.
Minato, let's go play soccer tomorrow.
All right, I'll call some of the other kids. I used to be relatively good at sports back then. At least compared to how I am now, anyway. Being handsome, I also never received any bullying for my long hair.
Gotcha. Yep.
The after-school care took over a room of the children's center, and a few times a month there would be events held by adults from the outside.
Today we're gonna have a music teacher. Have fun with the instruments, everyone.
Okay.
Minato, could you go to the music room to call him over, please?
Sure. I thought it would be the same old man who'd taught us last time.
Yes, the tuning is perfect. I wouldn't expect any less from Mr. Yanagise.
You were called to the office.
Oh, all right. I'll go right away.
When he turned around, my heart skipped a beat. I could almost feel the taste of lemonade in my mouth. It was him, that handsome guy who treated me like a girl on that rainy day.
Thank you for calling me. Oh, and could you please tell me where the,
I'll be going.
Oh, he ran off.
Oh, no. This can't be real. This can't be happening. What if he finds out? What if he finds out I've been dressing like that? I should have dressed up today.
Hello, everyone. I'm here as Mr. Yanagise's replacement. I hope to teach you how fun music can be. Let's all get along, shall we?
You were taught by Mr. Yanagise, correct? The way you explain things is so thorough. The children enjoy it very much.
I'm not as good as he is, though, but thank you. Where's that long-haired child?
Oh, now that you mention it, I don't see Minato here. I'll go look around for him. Excuse me? Oh man, what am I even doing? This was my chance. Is he still teaching?
Oh, you can play the piano? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to startle you.
Oh, it's okay. I was never taught. But the children here pestered me to play it.
You learned by yourself, did you? That's amazing.
It's probably not as amazing as you imagine. There are things I can't play even if I practice.
Where? Show me the sheet.
Here.
Oh, the fingers just go back and forth. That's a difficult one.
Don't stare like that. I didn't want him to know that I was putting do's and fa's over the notes. I didn't want him to see me as childish.
Right here, you move your fingers along, following a dun-da-da-da-dun rhythm. It seems difficult if you look at the score or listen to the music, but you should be fine if you just calmly move your fingers. It's amazing. So I did. I was taking piano lessons on and off for a handful of years as a kid. So I do have very nothing ever to write home about. I couldn't play you anything right now, but I did get into it enough to notice the gap between things that seem really difficult when you first encounter them on the page or like sound like they're impressive, and then you're just like, oh wait, that's just this motion with my hands. That was the easiest thing in the world. I had to sit here and piece it out piece by piece, and then when I finished it, I'm just like, oh, you just want me to just do that real quick. That's the easiest little thing you could have asked of me.
Do you want to know my piano lesson story?
Sure.
I had piano lessons for a while as a kid, and I did fucking terribly at them. I was the worst at it. And do you want to know what the constant thing was that was my problem?
What?
Couldn't make my thumbs work.
Understandable.
The piano teacher would always catch me with my thumbs off the keyboard, and the more stressed I was, even with my thumbs like braced against the piano, trying to play with just the other 4 fingers. So, fast forward about 20 years,
Yep.
and I played synth for a band, and guess whether I still played keyboards at all correctly? Absolutely not.
I'm genuinely impressed by that. And more like, because like, your thumb is part of what makes like playing multiple notes doable.
Exactly.
Like playing it with 4 fingers just seems like so unnecessary.
The secret of playing synth is that it requires, at least with the things I was doing, only a tiny fraction of the talent it required to play actual piano pieces.
That's true.
I was playing a couple of simple chords and extending them over time and manipulating sound effects on them. And on rare occasions, I'd play a lead, but I always picked ones that were kind of slow and floaty so that I didn't have to do complicated movements with all my fingers.
Understandable.
And that worked
Understandable.
pretty well. And on the other hand, I was doing the bass line, but that was good because I was already a bassist before that. And playing the bass line only requires 1 finger at a time because I'm not playing chords.
Right.
So just like, okay, that I can do. Kind of half-ass it with the left hand, half-ass it with the right hand, put it together, put a cool synth sound on it, and now I sound like a real musician, even though I don't actually know how to play a keyboard, and I have 2 of them in front of me.
Hey, of the 2 of us, one of us has professionally released an album of music, and that one's not me. Good, just like that. Yes?
It's nothing. He probably didn't realize that we'd already met at the cafe. I felt relieved, but at the same time I was also a little disappointed.
I will be replacing your previous teacher from now on, so if you'd like, we could practice playing the piano together.
Okay. Let's get along, Toma.
Did I ever introduce myself to you?
I asked another teacher. After that, Toma would come in every other week to teach us music. Since I always took the initiative to help the younger children, Toma ended up using me as an assistant, which made me really happy. Before we would finish cleaning up, he would help me practice the piano, and it made me happier than anything.
Minato, are you interested in singing?
I do enjoy it, yes. We often sing the opening themes of Sunday morning cartoons.
Is Minato interested in singing? Has concert. In the future, we'll have concerts where people come just... Well, there's actually a song I'd like you to sing with me.
Why me?
Huh? I felt like it would suit your voice.
I could tell I was blushing up a storm. But I'm no good at singing. I can't do it right.
Doesn't matter if you're not good. I just want you to be the one singing it. If you'd really rather not, I won't force you.
I'll do it. I'll also practice so I can sing it well.
All right. I'm glad to hear it.
I stood on a sofa and practiced the song by singing it to the familiar tape recorder. It was fun. We stopped meeting after that, but I still treasure the song I sang with him, although you can't actually listen to it anymore. Oh man, I'd have loved to have you hear my crappy singing. Yeah, and I'd have loved to hear it. It's a shame. I wonder what Toma's up to now. You haven't been in contact with him? No. I haven't heard of him in a long time. Things happened before I became a middle schooler, and I picked up judo. I'd love to see him again. I want to sing with you, Toma.
more and more, I'm wondering if I'm wondering, like, I don't know that the game is ever going to give us a definitive answer other than Minato is Minato, but hearing Minato describe these situations, it seems more like Minato is more enjoying the way that dressing a certain way gets men to look at him. Does that make sense?
I don't know that I got that from it.
It seems like he likes the outfit, like he likes the outfits a lot, right? But he's also never kind of talked more about it beyond that. I don't know. Minato, whatever you're doing well. Keep at it.
And demonstrably not doing super well at the moment, really.
Well, I mean, that's fair. All right. Sparklers, right? And then we get...
Did all that happen recently? No, it happened when I was still in elementary
Right,
school.
this dialogue changes because it's based on...
Yep. Toma, knowing his connection to music, it was fair to assume that he was the same Toma I knew. However, from what I assumed based on his story, that was at a different time than the story I was observing. It was either Toma's past or future. And if it happened in the same time frame as when Tojo Minato was in elementary school, then...
Right, and he's not there for you to consult. And then everything's going to come to a big crescendo. I like how it pauses at the 50-50 chance of getting either story. All right. And then there's one last little bit, right? There's one tiny little scene at the end here that's also going to change. What do we got? Kanoku Land. Oh, no, I don't want to... We can fast forward through this part again, right? We don't have to be with them while they consume. That's upsetting. What were they consuming? Oh, yep. Okay, see this bit here, it is... Minato, I want you alone to know this. My real name.
Your real name?
MAMIYA. Call me MAMIYA. This! Just a cult! Sorry, I wanted just a cult bit again. It's a good little bit out of context,
Yeah.
all right? Like, wait, this? This is just a cult. All right, we've got...
Of all the Mamiya plots so far, Toma's seems the most, like, from what we saw at least, the most benign. Like, he sang a song with a kid from his music class.
Right, and hasn't encouraged any... Like,
the other two had some pretty fucked up stuff going on that would deeply traumatize someone and potentially ensure they grow up maladjusted. But Toma just seemed to teach a music class.
Yeah, I don't know where we're landing on that with like where was... I'm not saying that makes Toma blameless or a good person, but like...
Here we go. I get it completely.
Okay.
This game is based. Toma did commit an unforgivable sin. Toma definitely knew what was up with Minato and wasn't trans-supportive about it, and that caused Minato to go down a dark path of a fractured identity and not feeling comfortable with self-expression and clinging to the tiny remaining bits that could be held on to from childhood from that time. That's it.
There we go. Based as
The
hell.
abuse was not being trans-positive.
The abuse was not being trans-positive. Wow. We can only hope. All right, Arisugawa time.
I chose to observe Arisugawa. What kind of person was he exactly? With that question in mind, I allowed myself to sink deeper into the story.
We're almost there, everyone.
Arisugawa? He was the problem child of the house and never hesitated to investigate others.
Instigate.
Instigate others, even. Despite that, he was a children's author. Huh? I have to start editing it? I wasn't told about this in the last meeting. Well, even if I'm to start changing it now, I need to mentally prepare. Right. Okay, I'll do what I can. Are you kidding me?
Now this is something. It's rare for Arasugawa to be crushed so one-sidedly.
He's getting what he deserves.
So, what can be done the day before the day after tomorrow? The place where the new character appears has to be the sea, so the cave description would have to go, and that's basically a complete rewrite.
Arasugawa, you're being too loud.
Ah, shit. Guess I just gotta do it.
Arasugawa, what are you planning to do with that cream puff in Yunka?
You have a bad feeling about this.
Come on, give us that ravenous eating ASMR.
Ugh, there it is.
What is he doing, Niigaki?
Something you shouldn't imitate.
All right, now don't you dare enter my room.
None of us ever even tried.
Don't even open the door, got it? See ya. A few hours later.
It's morning now. Did Arasugawa get that draft ready?
I'm guessing he's fallen asleep by now.
Sound of furious scribbling from behind the door.
Right? No, I'm guessing Arasugawa was on coffee number 7 at this point. I'd like to wake him up, but he did say not to open the door.
Let's just leave him alone and go to school, Toma.
A few more hours later in the evening. Hey, why didn't you jackasses wake me up? It's already evening. I have tons of missed calls from my rep. Hey, are you listening? Bach,
Oh?
Arisugawa slowly closed the door. Why must he be there of all people? Ah, shit. Fuck. I'll do it. I'll just fucking do it. Clenching a pack of cigarettes, Arisugawa turned back toward the screen of his word processor. The next day. Arisugawa was in the living room. It looked like his soul had left him. He sat on the sofa with 3 cigarettes in his mouth and his eyes wide open.
Arasugawa, please. Smoke outside or under the ventilation fan.
He won't hear you. He's probably unconscious.
What a nuisance.
Can't believe he actually writes books for children.
I mean, given everything we've learned about some very prolific children's book authors in recent years, is it that surprising? I wonder what kind of stories he writes.
I'll never let you lot read 'em. He suddenly shouted that before promptly falling back down on the sofa.
Arasugawa is absolutely locked in, but only when it matters. Rest of the time, he's like, nah, I'm asleep. Is he that against it?
Seems that way.
Personally, I'd love for you guys to hear my performances. Authors are so difficult to understand.
This was Arisugawa's everyday life. God, how do I put this? He's a foul-mouthed oddball, but I can't bring myself to hate him. In fact, I'm becoming more and more interested in him. I should continue watching him for a while longer.
I didn't do it this time. I did it every other time, but I didn't do it this time. When we got to interested in him.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Well, now you made me do it, so now it doesn't count anymore.
hey, will you give it a rest already?
Niigaki sounded an indignant yell. When Arisugawa and Samejima simultaneously turned around, they saw both Niigaki and Toma standing in front of them, looking rather imposing. But this asshole...
But he,
You're both guilty, and you're both getting punished.
You there, musician guy, stop this hysterical...
You're the hysterical ones!
Cool your jets, you two.
In the end, Toma made them both leave.
well, we're outside now.
It was meant to be a fun time. They were supposed to decorate, have a party, celebrate, and make some memories. It's clearly your fault, dude.
Is that really the first thing you should say here? You're the one who never listens, after all.
And who laid out those unreasonable conditions, huh? Who tried to get them through? Yeah, some work you're doing, you state dog.
I can make you accept those conditions here and now if you wish.
Oh, you want to go? Fine by me, let's just... A third voice called out to them.
Hey, this is the address that ordered 3 value pizzas, correct? I got them right here.
The two froze in a pre-fighting position. They did recall that someone had ordered pizzas.
Truce for pizzas?
Begrudgingly, they were also hungry. In fact, their hunger was one of the reasons why they were fighting.
Is this the right place or what?
It is.
You got the right house, buddy. We were out here waiting for you because this neighborhood's kind of difficult to navigate.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
The people inside will settle the bill. We'll hold on to those pizzas for you. I'm sure they're plenty heavy.
Oh, okay, here you go.
Arisugawa took the pizza boxes from the delivery boy.
Excuse me, you have to pay for the pizza.
By the time the clueless boy rang the bell, the two had already taken the pizzas and run off.
Imagine delivery where you have to pay at point of handing it over rather than well in advance.
When did the switch happen for us?
I don't remember.
I feel like it happened at some point during the time we lived here.
There was a point where it was... Because I think it depended on what service you were using mostly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it was just easier to send the delivery person out with Square on a Square app on their phone, right?
Yep.
But at a certain point, it just became... I think maybe around maybe COVID time when DoorDash just became the norm.
Oh,
and
yeah.
pay in advance and get delivery from literally any restaurant suddenly was the norm,
Yep.
right?
Wow, this is some cheap-ass pizza.
The base is so thin.
Cheese can stretch pretty good, though. The two sat on the stairs of a pedestrian bridge and ate the 3 pizzas.
What fuckers.
The people passing by were surprised at first, but ultimately ignored them. They could easily picture Niigaki going crazy with anger, while Toma reluctantly surrendered the money. This road was right next to a national highway. It was pretty busy, too. The hot pizza they ate had lost all warmth by now, and they were working through the rubber-like cheese.
I suppose we should head back now.
I ain't going back with you. Arisugawa stood up and prepared to go in a different direction.
Where are you headed?
What's it do ya?
Make no mistake. I care less about you than any other living being on this earth, which is why I will happily put a pause in our fights in order to enjoy pizza with you.
Which actually, now that I've said it aloud, totally makes sense. You need to have a certain kind of villainous hate for someone to be able to be in a position to be like, no, hold on. Pizza, then we'll get back to it.
I don't actually care about you enough to finish this fight. Having one slice of pizza matters more to me than my victory over you, you insignificant fuck.
Is that 2 Ultra Kill references in one sode? Man.
Where do you think you can even go? Mamiya doesn't exist.
True. Only brats would be wishing for something that's not real.
Exactly. I am, however, somewhat puzzled. It's almost as if we're trying to replace a whole person.
You mean by living there?
It's as though we're trying to fill the hole left by Mamiya with someone else. And I'm not entirely sure whether that's right or wrong. I always left such judgments to Mamiya, after all.
People who can't become independent are the worst of them all. Do you think it's right to let Mamiya fade from our memories?
Well, of course not. I suppose we adults have no choice but to accept what exists.
Samejima finished the last of his pizza in a single bite.
Oh, this was awful. We'll have to tell them never to order from that place again.
Good idea. In fact, they should be thanking us for eating this garbage for them.
Indeed.
Ha! This might have been the first time they joined each other in laughter like this.
Here's the thing, though. It's like, there's really, really good pizza is really, really good. Like, that's always the case, right?
Mhm.
High-end pizza, really, like, when you get, like, a flatbread place, like a dedicated pizzeria, right? Pretty damn good. You can't go wrong. You're like, it's always going to be the best. And then you get, like,
consistent like fast food style pizza where it's like it's never gonna be blow your mind, but it's always gonna hit a certain floor of quality, right? And then you go below that, and you get like the really crappy pizza that you're just never going to enjoy, and that's obviously gonna be low quality. And then you go even lower quality, and suddenly the actual quality shoots back up again. Because nothing is more enjoyable than absolutely terrible pizza, it turns out.
I have nostalgia regularly for fucking school cafeteria pizza.
God. The absolute worst. And yet...
Their mouths were full of the taste of cheese, while their hands and lips were wet with oil.
Right, we ate the main dish, so what do we do now?
Get some KFC or something. Brats love that.
I actually enjoy their biscuits as well.
Whatever, dude. They were then scolded quite harshly. A boy younger than both of them made them kneel at the front door. Arisugawa complained about knee pain, but Toma didn't care. Samejima, on the other hand, said nothing and seemed very collected. When it was time to stand up, though, he took several times longer than Arisugawa. Toma and Niigaki enjoyed the fried chicken they'd presented them. Arisugawa and Samejima, however, were sitting at different edges of the sofa while eating their biscuits.
You had room for biscuits after eating 1.5 pizzas? Damn.
Where can we go, huh? Arisugawa eyed the others as they were enjoying the movie and pondered the question from before.
Chapter 5. I keep expecting that to fade back out, and it doesn't, and then I have to take an extra second to realize I need to click again. And then this is the same fight scene, right?
Yeah.
And now Arisugawa, come on, buddy. It's your turn. It's your turn, motherfucker. You're the last one here. Come on, buddy. I'm not going to cut all this out, the fast-forwarding bits. I've just... At this point, I've decided it's easier for us to just talk aimlessly a little bit and chat over it than it is for me to go through and cut them all out every time.
Plus, if you're good at reading fast, you get 4 times as much game per game.
Exactly. So, really, god damn. I ain't got time for this.
Oh, hey, you got a new story, do ya?
Yeah, this one's great.
Hey, show me a piece of that story, huh?
I'd love for it to be printed and reach as many people as possible.
Oh, it's rare for you to say that. I can't wait to read it.
The editor put down the draft. This moment always made him tense up.
Arisugawa. I'm sorry, but I can't allow the story to be released as is.
Huh? But why?
'Cause it ain't down to earth enough. Children's novels and even fantasy works are all just adventures that teach something to the readers, right? I mean, this is an interesting story, no doubt about that, but I just don't see what it could teach children.
That's... Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm glad you didn't continue. Thank you for not making this the fault of the readers. Is it possible to give this story a happy ending?
This story... Oh. Holding the draft in hand, he walked under gray skies. His story was rejected as it was, without any actual editing. The story was, in fact, about Arisugawa and Mamiya. It was pretty obvious what he wished to convey with it. He wanted to prove that Mamiya existed. He actually worked really hard to make that come through in the story.
Is it possible to give that story a happy ending, though?
He spent a long time thinking. He wanted to give the story a happy ending. He truly did, but no matter how much he thought about it, Arisugawa was unable to give it a positive conclusion.
Trying really hard to keep my metafictional cap off right now. It's constantly going for it.
Well, there's no need to change the message. What's important is who that message will reach, and how it'll reach them.
He mulled over the words that Mamiya had once told him. I was sure I'd picked the best way to do it. The same goes for the audience I wanted my message to reach. But if this is what happens, it can only mean that there's a problem with the message itself. He looked up at the people walking by on the road. There was a man hiding in his clothes to keep warm, smiling lovers keeping each other close, children playing around. He saw himself and MAMIYA in all of it. He tried his best to keep his emotions at bay as his face contorted in pain. It didn't matter if it was foolish or ridiculous. He was ready to be laughed at, so please. Listen to my story. They only have to listen. What's important is letting them know about MAMIYA.
But even you!
Arasugawa is writing a story about MAMIYA, though.
I can't.
Yep, this is that scene again.
Arasugawa, your lip is bleeding.
Sorry, I just can't write my story.
Huh?
I am utterly unable to convey MAMIYA's qualities, charms, humor, or knowledge.
But why? Why can't you do it? Don't give up, Arasugawa. If you can't do it, then we... Do it, come on, just do it. Write your damn story already. Why can't you just do it?
Niigaki.
Why?
So it seems that not a single one of us was able to feel it. We couldn't overcome society, and we lost. All we did was realize how utterly weak we have been, and just the act of living is making my heart wear out. It has always been like this. This world is so hard to live in. And the only reason I'd managed to get by was because MAMIYA was there. No matter how many memories we shared, none of you are MAMIYA. There's no point to anything if MAMIYA is no longer around.
Why? If MAMIYA has no shape, that means she can stay around without ever dying. Why aren't you here, MAMIYA?
Why didn't you take me with you?
A world without you has no meaning whatsoever.
Why?
This is a lot to endure.
The afternoon moon above was so much fainter than at night. Oh. MAMIYA is so far away. Their disappointment had turned to fatigue, and soon enough, they no longer had the will to muster up any more courage again. Shit. Why? Why the fuck do I have so much trouble writing this shit? Shit, this is garbage. I can't hand in something like this. If I can't even finish this, then why the hell did I become a writer in the first place? Arisugawa appeared in the living room with several drafts in hand. His eyes were hollow and completely devoid of light. He simply went back and forth between the bathroom and the kitchen.
Arasugawa?
Bach, please back away.
Samejima stood before that hollow shell of a man and launched a powerful roundhouse kick at his behind.
Hey-ya!
Ugh!
Whoa!
Okay, that was just mean.
You goddamn piece of...
What are you whimpering about, Mr. 99er?
Huh?
If you can't write, then talk. Unlike you, we can't write stories. However, anyone can speak. That's the kind of place this house is, after all. You stay here the longest and breathe the most of this place's air, so you must do this.
Huh. Easy for you to say when you know nothing about the pain and hurdles of creation. Arisugawa looked at the others in a room littered with drafts and crumpled notepad pages. You want me to talk about MAMIYA? How ironic. You're telling me to say the words I couldn't write at my table, huh? Fine, I'll do it. There won't be any dramatization or entertainment here. Don't you dare yawn, no matter how boring it is. This is your once-in-a-lifetime chance to get a peek at the notes of Arisugawa the author.
Is Arasugawa the author? Is this Arasugawa's book? Is this how Arasugawa... Because we get, like, the cool paperback, like, dime store paperback covers in the chapters in the select screen, right? Is Arasugawa actually the author? And I'm just trying...
that, like, comment and subscribe.